We are live. I am Savage Squishy 86, and here we are once again with a continuing live stream of one of my favorite titles and Resident Evil Zero. Now, as many of you are remembering, I was actually in the process of going through the measures of testing everything, so bear with me a moment as I'm exploring my continued measures, see if they work. Forgive me if my mic sounds a little off kilter because I'm still getting the bearings of it.
Let's regroup.
So bear with me just a second. Because I'm using the PS4 cam. I got the adapter to use the PS4 cam with the 5. So I'm still kind of getting my measure here. So bear with me a moment. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to work out. So I'm just basically just testing it. Oh, well, like that a pickle. I don't have my cam on my stream. That's peculiar. Maybe that's what it took. Nope, it worked. Fantastic. Now let me see if I can get my audio.
Okay. Come on.
The controller. Do do do. Do do do. Yo. Hello. Yo. Hello. Okay, I think we got a good winner. I think we got a good. All right, so I'm gonna run with that because I don't want to use my microphone if I can help it. So I'm gonna see how long this is gonna hold out here. Alrighty, I think we're back in business now. Wonderful. Fantastic. I'm clearly going to need to get a new light setup because not enough light for the stream, at least for the PC on cam. So, but that being said,
Let's regroup. Okay.
hopefully that will be sufficient in that capacity in that regard. So, bear with me a moment.
Come on.
Okay, that's good. So, what do I say? Well, as many of you know, I've got my groove on with my PlayStation 4 finish of Doom Eternal, which was very productive and highly successful. So, and I thought to myself, I really want to try something different. I want to try a game I haven't played in a hot minute. It's a popular game, it's a regular game, but it's one that's actually quite commonplace and one that I thoroughly enjoy. So I thought to myself, well, I played the Resident Evil 1 remake, but I never played the Zero, which is what we're seeing here. Now,
some backtracking for this game's story. Basically, the events of Resident Evil Zero correlate to the events leading up to Resident Evil One. So in a sense, I guess you would say this is kind of like a
Let's regroup.
subplot
Okay.
within the plot of the Resident Evil universe leading up to the events of Resident Evil 1. It answers a lot of relevant questions
Come on.
that were relevant in the grand scheme of things, especially with the particulars of how the outbreak happened and the very nature of how the whole arc of Wesker and Birkin came to be. It also fills in a lot of the gaps of the events that led up to Rebecca making her way to the mansion and how she stayed alive for as long as she did, where so many of her Bravo team counterparts did not. So, this is a very different kind of Resident Evil. It has a lot of mirror elements from the classic Resident Evil 1 remake, but it also introduces a lot of elemental factors that were not very much commonplace and were really first time engagers of the time for their respective genre. So, that being said, it's going to be a very different kind of scale to that veil. So, with anything in regard, it's going to be quite enthusiastic to sort of see how far along the lines this game really takes it. Now, I'm going to show my strategies and my
Let's regroup.
tactics
Okay.
involving playing a lot of this game. So I think the most important one is that the different characters of Rebecca and the man Billy Cohen, who is actually a Marine, who is actually a prisoner. So, but I won't get too much into that at present. I will get more into that as time goes on, particularly with the scope of the game's progressive narrative, especially as we go forward, because strategy is important. Item carrying is important, so particularly some items will want to be put on Rebecca or Billy. Now, bear in mind, this is strictly my strategy, and this is strictly my way of playing. So I'm pretty sure there's other ones out there who have much more sufficiently better strategies and tactics that they employ, but I think it's more important to sort of just explore the avenues and different play styles. One of the biggest mechanics in this game is the character switching, which is what you're seeing here with the heartbeat. You are in control of not one, but both characters, which you can switch to on the fly very easily. So, which you'll get a lot of that in the grand scheme of things. And then pretty much for going from more with that, that's pretty much what
Let's
we'll go for in
regroup.
that
Okay.
Rhapsody. So, but we're going to have a great time. The stream is going to be pretty good. I'm looking forward to getting more into it, and I hope many other people will appreciate it more equally as such. So, um, this is my first time streaming with the PlayStation 5, so I am pretty much a virgin at this point, but I'm pretty sure as time goes on, I will learn more of the PlayStation 5's mechanics and components overall. So, enough of my rambling. Let's get into some zombie slaying. Now, I have completed this game, so I pretty much know all of its content and its downloadable features and most of its unlockables by heart, but we're not going to use any of those. We're going to start from square one and explore all those measures. So, as you can see, there's a lot of different things here in regards to it. So, right away, we're going to just take a quick overview of the controls and that capacity. So, basically, it just gives us a very good sensibility in terms of how we play in that measure. So, it's pretty much the important thing to recall is that Resident Evil Zero was released on the Nintendo GameCube some years ago. I'm not entirely clear on the exact date, but it was released a good proportion amount of time ago. And all things considered, it was definitely something of its time, a different kind of take on that regard. So that being the case, we pretty much got a good sensibility of what that game entails. Pretty much the game operates just the same with the same design and the design specs that gameplay mechanics and so on that we had from Resident Evil 1, with key differences in the fact that Resident Evil Zero, there are no item boxes. You pick something up, you can drop at any time, but it's going to be dropped in that precise place where it's going to be dropped. The other important thing is the fact that you're going to have no sub weapons. So if you're grabbed, there will be no measure of actually getting out of it without getting hurt. Whereas Resident Evil 1, if you recall from my previous streams, I had conducted that with a sense of there were sub weapons in the form of daggers and tasers for Jill, and daggers and stun grenades for Chris. In this game, there are no sub weapons, there are no defensive weapons. These are basically gone. I mean, that's really no other way to say it. But the same mechanics still apply. There are certain things that Billy can do that Rebecca cannot do. Rebecca will do certain things Billy cannot do. The most notable thing is that Billy will have I believe he has a lighter, and I believe also Rebecca has a chemist set, which she uses with certain puzzles in the game. And also there's a measure of influence where it can be medicinal. So those are two very important things. Only Rebecca can make chemicals and make medicines, and only Billy. In fact, yes, Billy cannot mix herbs. Only Rebecca can mix herbs. So bear that in mind with your play style and your strategy. Rebecca, in a sense, as is what she is. She is a medic. Her business is to heal. Beyond the scope of that, there is nothing much else that she does do. In combat, Billy is kind of a workhorse. He can take a lot more damage, and he can handle a lot more heavy firepower. Rebecca cannot. She's always going to have a bit of a kind of like a slow feel to her. She's also going to take a lot more damage, in fact. So you'll find me using a lot of Billy in cases of boss fights as opposed to Rebecca, largely because of this very reason. It's kind of a bit of a slog wash in terms of how you want to play that, but ultimately that's the nature of it. As you can see, there are certain mechanics in which you can switch the character. They also have their own unique costumes, to say the least. So there's always tons of stuff. Also, one ink ribbon. The same system applies from the classic Resident Evil 1. We have ink ribbons. We have a save system in that capacity. So, but ultimately, that's pretty much the whole scope of it. We're going to take a quick load just to see where my last game save was, because it's been a long time since I played this. I wonder if it's even on here. Yep, we got our classic easy mode, normal mode, hard, and then we had the extra hard mode, which I have not played yet. So, but as you can see, I played this game in all its capacities, easy, normal, and hard. And I've actually cleared them all and enjoyed them all in their own respective fashions. So I am no slouch when it comes to playing the game at its full capacity. And it is definitely fun. I don't really remember when I played this game on that, but the fact is we're not going to do that. What we are going to do, though, is we're going to enjoy the game in its basest form, so that some people can get a feel for it, and then others who are newcomers to the franchise can enjoy it at their own leisure. Now, the differences in the difficulty goes without saying. There are going to be instances where you're going to have limited resources, ammo, health, and particularly a jumble up of circumstances in terms of you getting fucked up by a lot of monsters, because there's going to be a lot of them. They do probably twice as much damage, and in that respect, it makes them much more detrimental. The same goes with boss fights. So, I mean, you really kind of play it at your leisure, but the most important thing I stress in hard difficulty, much like my real survival run when I played Resident Evil 1 Remake, uh, you really want to just put them down. Enemies, I mean, you want to put them down and you just run past them. Try to save as much ammo as you can. If you don't have the ammo to burn, don't try killing them. You're just wasting your resources. And avoid fights at all whenever possible, at the very least. At the very least, if they're in your way, get them, damage them enough to where they fall down, and then just book. That's really what you want to do. So ultimately, in that regard, that's pretty much all we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and get started right now with Resident Evil.
Resident Evil 0.
So now we can either play with the wide view or the original. I like to go with the wide view because I'm on a TV now of bigger proportions and subtitles. So, and here we go.
A Midwestern town in America, Raccoon City. A solitary island far off in the sea, Rockfort Island. An island that would become the second Raccoon City, Sheena Island. There are still many unanswered questions about these seemingly unrelated yet intensely traumatic events. Though it is believed that the international enterprise umbrella was somehow involved, little is known as to the origin of this faceless corporation. When was it established? By whom? And how was the T-virus created? To uncover the truth, we must delve deeper into the events which
I hope all of you are
transpired in
enjoying
the
a
beginning,
wonderfully
before the mansion
tranquil
incident.
Friday night and not causing much in the way of trouble. And if you are, making it count.
Do you think so too?
Yeah.
Do about it. Hold off for a while. I wonder how those R&D people
I will admit, I was tempted to play Resident Evil 4 remake versus this, but I thought, you know what, I haven't played this in a minute. I kind of want to enjoy it.
It began as a simple investigation of some bizarre murders in the suburbs of Raccoon City. Nothing in our training could ever have prepared
We got
us for the
Richard,
nightmare
we
that
got
ensued.
Joseph Forrest.
We never stood a
No, we got
chance.
Joseph Flores, we got Forrest Spear, we got Kenneth J. Sullivan, we got Enrico Marini.
Emergency landing.
If you don't know any of those names, they're all the original Bravo team members that were killed in Resident Evil 1. This is their story. What's up, honey? You have to forgive me. My cat had a bat, but she's kind of limping around, so she kind of tweaked her leg, so she's still recovering.
Captain, look!
Yeah, that's better. Oh yeah.
Captain!
What happened?
Court order for transportation. Prisoner Billy Cohen, ex-lieutenant, 26 years old. Court-martialed and sentenced to death July 22nd. Prisoners to be transferred to the Regathon base for execution.
Those poor soldiers. They were good men just doing their jobs, and that scum murdered them and escaped.
All right, everyone, let's separate and survey the area. Our friend is brutal and ruthless. Keep your guard up.
God, this takes me back. I wonder when this. I can't remember when this was made. I should have looked. I wasn't paying attention to the thing. It said it right there at the bottom of the screen. Let me take a quick look. "2002.
A train?
This game is 23 years old and it still kicks ass. Damn. Hello, Melissa dear. Welcome. I gotta move the chat down a little bit more because I didn't see it till it popped up there. I'm still new to the mechanics of the PlayStation 5, so the broadcasting system is a little different from the 4. So, but I'll get a handle on it the more I do it. My PS4 I unplugged and put away. So right away we're gonna totally take a quick gander around and pretty much see that we're pretty much in the thick of this little train. You know, it's amazing how incredibly immaculate it looked before, and now it looks like it's absolute garbage. So give me a minute to just get my bearings here. I gotta see what my I gotta see my Alright, I see my inventory is square. Okay, I definitely want to see about changing my controls if I can a little bit because these controls are not quick turn. Okay, that's better. Hmm. Hmm. don't remember the controls being so kind of tricksy. I'm always used to having the X button as my run feature. Let's confirm. Quick turn. Well, I guess I'll just have to get used to it. I mean, it's always weird when you go back to a game and it feels so different than you last played it. But that's the thing about games when you don't play them for a long time. You get that learning curve you got to get down again, and you find yourself kind of like discombobulated in a sense. So then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, definitely want to probably do that again. Reload. Hmm. Hmm. I'll stick with it. It's a bit of a learning curve, but that's what happens when you haven't played the game for a long time. You got to get that learning curve down and get used to it. So, you haven't finished searching the train yet. So, now we could go this way, but unfortunately that door is going to be locked, so we're going to go left instead. Now, upon entering this next car, you're going to be confronted with your first encounter with a couple of zombies. You don't even need to run or avoid them. Just stand your ground and fight, because you got the ammo to burn, so you might as well just get over with and just get your bearings on how to fight. And at the very least, that eliminates them from being a potential problem, because as the game progresses, more and more zombies will get up from
This
their
is Officer
seats.
Chambers from STARS Bravo team. Please identify yourself. Is someone there?
The government has announced that they have set up that are common, but as of 2 years ago,
Yeah.
when several plants were set up, the local government stepped in and took over.
All right. So right away, you're going to target the first zombie closest to you, right here. He's going to go down, run directly down the car, quickly spin around, and return fire to the other enemies. Just keep firing. And that's it.
What just happened? I thought they were dead.
Now, the other thing I want to point out, too, is the more common players, they like to press and hold the fire button. They like to hold it and just open fire. But if you tap the fire button, you actually fire off shots a lot faster. So bear that in mind when you want to get some more shots out there a little faster. Especially if you're playing on harder difficulties, you want the measure of that privilege. The rain outside is quickly turning into a downpour. Okay, as soon as you get to this point, head into the first cabin, which is going to be 202. And inside you will find a file and I believe some ammo as well. Okay, there we go. There's some ammo. See, it still comes back to me. I remember everything there is to know about this game, right down to the files. So here we have a passenger's diary, July 14th. Orders came from the boss today. Looks like we're in charge of investigating the remains of the Arkley Mountains laboratory. We're moving in two groups. The initial group is assigned to start checking what's left of the abandoned experiment, July 16th. Unfortunately, test production of VOW type Y139 had to be suspended because of this investigation. Now, type Y139 would be the dogs, the Cerberus. It's the same with type Y139. There's still so much we don't know about responses to the crustacean T virus. There's a lot of interesting research left. Depending on the species and nurturing conditions, only minute doses of T bring about remarkable changes in solidity, size, multiplication of internal toxins, and brain development. If these effects can be controlled, a powerful weapon can be produced. But the sudden development of the shell results in a corresponding fragility. Certain areas become exceedingly weak. Problematically, one of these areas is the head carapace. This lab we are going to, were they pursuing the same research? It would certainly help to find data, and any and samples that would help us in our research. July 19th. The day is finally approaching. I am growing more anxious. The Raccoon City newspapers and TV stations are full of reports about the bizarre murders in the suburbs. It can't be the virus, can it? If it is, no, I can't think of that now. I have to concentrate on this investigation and make sure it goes smoothly. So we already are getting a precursor notion of the events leading to the mansion incident. So once we have pretty much exited 202, we're going to head into 201, which is a neighboring room right next door. Ooh, I should probably tighten my drink down before I spill it. Now, upon entering the room, directly ahead of us, you'll see your first set of ink ribbons, which is what we want to grab. Go ahead and grab those. Over here, you'll also find on the floor a herb. And just to be clear, you eat the herbs, you don't smoke them. And then over here we have a file, again, investigation orders. Stained with blood, some sections are illegible. 8 miles north of Raccoon City in the Arthur Mountains lies our company's management training facility. Blank. It was shut down years ago. Now we are conducting a preliminary study into the reopening of the facilities. Blank. First investigation unit is already on site and opening the investigation. I want your team to provide support. Forgive me, I got some freaking hair that's driving me crazy. Oh, it's gonna make me mad. The following orders are from William Birkin, and I pretty much know it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that that's who that is. And blank, which we know is Albert Wesker. First investigation unit. The rest is torn and unreadable. So once we pretty much have acquired those items, we're going to go ahead and save our game. Now, I make a habit of saving once every time, but ultimately it's entirely up to you. You can pretty much run it at your leisure. Particularly in harder difficulties, you want that measure of security, because who the hell knows what you're going to run into. And if you're not a good player, yeah, you really don't want to have to run all the way back to square one again. So, but with that said, we're going to go ahead and leave these behind. So right away, you'll see right here, first hand basically is pretty much what it's going to be like. It's just going to drop right there on the floor. So just bear that in mind when you go about the process of picking things up and dropping them. Remember where you drop them. In fact, I'll take the moment to pull up the map as it pulls up a layout of basically where it is. So you can pretty much get a sense of where you're at, and then on top of that, by pressing the X button, it also pinpoints exactly what items are in this particular area. So you can navigate your way very well. Get acquainted with your map. You'll want to check that often if you're looking for a specific item that you need. If it's a key item, you definitely want to keep tabs on it. So head around the corner, and here you'll find another door. It is locked, and it obviously reads the conductor's office, so we can't open that door. Head over to the back door and check the key card reader, and you can see that you don't have the right key card to open the back door. This will lead you to the engine car. But over here is a train employee's corpse, and it is torn apart. He is holding something. And here we have a train key, and we'll have a cutscene following picking that up. I do like the way they remastered it, though. It's a lot more crisp. Not very grainy like the predecessor.
Billy. Lieutenant Cohen.
So, you seem to know me. Been fantasizing about me, have you?
You're the prisoner that was being transferred for execution. You were with those soldiers outside.
I don't really use just coaster anymore.
I see. You're with stars. Well, no offense, honey, but your kind doesn't seem to want me around, so I'm afraid our little chat time is over.
Wait! You're under arrest.
No thanks, Dollface. I've already worn handcuffs.
I could shoot, you know.
And boom.
Edward! Are you alright?
Scoozy.
What happened?
It's worse than... We can't. You must be careful, Rebecca.
He's all fucked up.
The forest is full of zombies and monsters.
Zombies and monsters.
Now, this is your real first challenge with Rebecca because she can take a little bit more damage than Billy. So right away, you want to go ahead and just immediately draw your weapon and fire. Now, obviously, we took a bit of punishment there, but try to get him off you if you get him cornered. I really pretty much was like moving. Oh, nope, that was not mean to do that. I'm looking for a target and the. There we go. So right away, you pretty much got rid of your first real threat. Unfortunately, we took a little bit of damage, but thankfully, we're not terribly hurt. I was looking to reload my weapon manually versus the reload animation, but as you can see, the Cerberuses were more aggressive on the mark than I was. So, but before we get into that, we're going to go ahead and take a look at this key. There's a tag written on it, and that is to the dining car. So we have the key leading us further along to the back of the train where we came in. So that's where we're going to head back. Now, Edward is pretty much dead, so we know that, but we're going to go ahead and check his corpse because he's got some ammo on him, which is what we're going to take. Now, in the latter part, you can actually give some ammo to your partner, who will be Billy. But for right now, we're on our own, so we're going to go ahead and just grab it. But we can always transfer it to his inventory when we're partnered up. As you can see, some zombies have gotten up. So I put that one zombie down, but I wanted to get past the other one too. So instead, we're going to head upstairs real quick before we head further along. And right up here at the top of the stairs, we're going to have a green herb, which we're going to grab. So once you grab that, you'll find that you can't really proceed any way forward because the path in the hallway on the upper level is blocked. So we're going to head back down the stairs. Also, by the window, take a look outside, and you'll find that there's a broken ladder that we can get up to, but we need to find a tool to do that as well. So we'll be making a return trip here as well.
This is Rebecca. Over.
Rebecca, can you hear me? This is Rico. What's your location? Over.
Enrico! Hello! Can you read me? Please respond.
Rebecca, I can hear you. Now listen up. We've obtained detailed information on the fugitive from a document found in the wrecked wagon. Billy Cohen killed as many as 23 people. Over.
23 people.
We have also confirmed that he was institutionalized, so keep your guard up. Can you hear me, Rebecca? Over. Stay alert, Rebecca. You wouldn't think twice before killing you.
Enrico! Captain! Hello? Hello!
Yeah, I'll tell you, their police radio equipment ain't exactly top notch, is it? So we hear a zombie get up. We're going to go ahead and drop him. Actually, we're going to book because we ran out of ammo. And I ain't got the time to reload it. So we're just going to go ahead and leave it. We'll let him do the... We'll let Billy take care of these guys because Billy's going to come back through here.
It's gonna be dangerous from here on in. Why don't we cooperate?
Cooperate with you?
Listen, little girl, if you haven't noticed, there's some pretty freaked out things on this train. And I, for one, want to get out of here. I don't think we stand a chance doing it alone.
You expect me to trust you, a wanted felon? I don't need your help. I can handle this on my own. And don't call me little girl.
All right, Miss Do-It-Yourself. What should I call you?
The name is Rebecca Chambers, but that's Officer Chambers to you.
Well then, Rebecca, why don't you go and try while I wait here?
Now, this is pretty much our first initial encounter in terms of before cooperating. So, but we're going to go ahead and reload our weapon.
Well then, Rebecca, why don't you go and try while I wait here?
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, bruv. Now, we can't go into the kitchen because that is powered down and the door is locked. But over here on the table, we're going to find a file. A notice to supervisors. When closing the dining car, supervisors are asked to switch off the automatic doors after ensuring all staff have vacated the car. The main automatic door power switch is located on the roof of the fifth car. Inspections will take place when the train is garaged. After inspections are complete, use the ladder in the rear of the second floor of the dining car. Umbrella Corp maintenance. So let's take a look at it. After inspection, use the ladder at the rear of the second floor dining car. So we pretty much have that ladder that we saw. That's where we have to go. Well, no, actually, that's not the ladder. It's actually further up. You'll see. So once we have that conversation, we're going to head up the stairs and proceed for the next section of this encounter. Now here, over here, you'll see that there is some ammo, I believe, here. Actually, no, there is no ammo. Huh. I thought there was. But this door is locked from the other side. So we're going to head along this path and head our next cutscene.
Excuse me, sir. Sir.
And this is our new major threat in the form of the Leech Man, which is basically leeches that make up a man. Weirdly enough. So, rather than engage him, we're going to turn around and we're going to flee down the stairs. Which will trigger the cutscene. I'm amazed at the fact that he actually just shot at her, hit leeches, and not her. And then he pulls like John Woo and just jumps to the air, shooting two leeches out of the air.
Are you okay?
You got homeboy out here singing opera.
Who is that guy?
What's going on? Who's controlling the train?
Go and check out the first engine car. Listen, we gotta cooperate with each other from now on. You got that?
Well, I don't...
Clue in, girl. Or maybe you like being worm bait.
All right. But you just remember, I will shoot you if you try anything funny.
Fine. Now take these with you. If you find anything, give me a call, all right?
So, now that we have them partnered up, we'll be introducing the new mechanic of the teamwork or solo function. So, character switching. You can switch control between the two lead characters, Rebecca and Billy, and use their different abilities to progress through the game. The character you currently control is called the main character. The character you do not control is called the partner character. Controlling the partner character. The partner character generally moves independently, but you can use the R control stick to control them yourself. Selecting the partner on the status screen allows you to assign instructions to the character. Solo, both characters move independently, and team partner moves with the main character. Attack partner attacks automatically. Idle partner will not attack. You can also press the touchpad to switch between solo and team behavior. Switching characters, triangle at the status screen to switch the characters. You will need to switch characters in order to progress through certain situations. Exchanging items when your partner character is nearby. You can exchange items on the status screen. Choose the item to the main character item and select exchange. Character attributes. Rebecca has the following attributes: can combine herb-related items, weak defense, and can use a mixing set to combine chemicals. Character attributes. Billy. Billy has the following attributes: cannot combine herb-related items, strong offense, can push many large objects. If the partner character is attacked, both the main and partner character will die if they take too much damage. You should always keep an eye on their condition. A partner being attacked in a different room will call for help over the radio. If your partner does call, get to them as quickly as possible. Cooperating with your partner, some puzzles cannot be solved by only one character. When you are stuck, try to see the user partner will help. So right away, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our status menu. So basically, we can set everything up to the necessity of what we want by doing the partner. So pretty much we're at the state where we can pretty much go about doing it in this regard. So I'm going to see about...
Come on!
Okay.
So we pretty much can do that with the touchpad. Just press the touchpad and you can swap out partner, switch the places with them. So right, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at what he's got. And as you can see, he's got a lighter, he's got a combat knife, and he's got a handgun, a Marines issued handgun, and ammo. So right away, we're going to pretty much just go with going solo for right now.
I'll go.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and leave him here and proceed and head to the back of the car, the dining room car, which was mentioned earlier at the start of the games with that file. So climb out the ladder and you'll go out there with Rebecca. I'm specifically setting Rebecca this way because Billy is a stronger opponent and he's going to need to face a boss in a short while. So Rebecca will be removed from the equation for her fragile nature. So proceed along the path along the moving train's roof. Round the hole and reconnect the cable to the dining car's kitchen below. Now the door has been restored power that leads to the kitchen, but unfortunately, as a consequence, Rebecca will be trapped. So that being said, we're going to have ammo here on the right. We're going to have a green herb here directly in front of us. And then back here, we'll try to open the door and we'll see that it says there's something stuck in the keyhole. It's preventing the doorknob from turning. You could probably get it out if you had something sharp. So it pretty much goes without saying that Rebecca is pretty much trapped. That being said, we're going to go ahead and get her the key and see about get that key and see what that key says. And it basically says the conductor's key. Now the conductor's key basically will take us... We'll pull up our map real quick and we'll see that basically we are right at present here in the second floor car. Now if we go down one floor, which is pretty much where we came into that area, we will go back down a ways and we'll see that that is actually the key that leads to the conductor's office pretty much right there. So that's where we need to go. So what do? Well, we can't get out of here. So this is where Billy's going to take over and he's going to get something to get her out. So we're going to call the elevator from down below. put the key inside the elevator. And I think we switch with triangle. Yep. So right away, we're going to take over with Billy, and we're going to head down the stairs and go get that key. Rebecca's pretty much stuck. She's not going nowhere, and she's not going to be under threat from any enemies. So we're going to leave her there for now. So once you've descended the stairs, head into the kitchen. And over here to the right and around the corner, you'll find the little conveyor belt elevator. I don't even know what they're called. I think it's like a dumb waiter or something. I forget. Someone educate me. I don't have the capacity of this. I'm killing monsters. So once we have the key, we can proceed back down the way we came and out the way we came. Pretty much just want to get the zombies out of your way. Because Billy is a little tougher, you can probably guarantee I'll certainly be using my knife at some capacity. Right away, that's going to be our cue to get our knife out, and this is where we get knife happy. Oh, he's actually dead. But it's okay, because I like using my knife with Billy anyway. Billy is actually a lot better with a knife than Rebecca. Billy has a great deal of reach, and he's got that little... I like the strategy. Basically, if you notice, every time he takes a step back, so stab, step back, stab... basically I just do a lot of this. Basically, this is my strategy for using him as a good knife fighter. And the cool thing is he doesn't take really a lot of damage either. That's the added benefit about Billy. So once we get to this point, we're going to go ahead and use the conductor key to get into the conductor's office. And we won't need it no more, so we can throw it away. Now, once we are in here, we will find there are some herbs here. We are going to go ahead and not grab those, but we will look at them to say, at the very least, that they are here. And Rebecca can easily come by and get them later on. Because we can't really use them with Billy. We can't pick them up. We can't mix them. So, but we got the train map, so that's a good thing. But over here, we also have a file on the floor. Note from the conductor. The key card for the driver's compartment is in my bag, as always, but I need the other guy's key to open the damn thing. But it looks like I've lost it somewhere. If it was a normal key, someone would be sure to turn it in, but this key is different. I'll look for it too, but if you happen to find it, please hand it in. Thanks in advance. So, he's got a satchel bag, which we will grab. While we do have that, that's a good thing. But we're not going to really need it right now, so we're going to go ahead and drop it right on the floor. And instead, we're going to hit the switch over here that we saw on the right when we came into the room. And it will take us up to the next level with a ladder. That's actually on my list of things to do. I want to go on a train trip. I've never been on a train trip. I've done a lot of traveling in the last few years, but I've never been on a train. It would be definitely fun. Today's specials: Mediterranean-style shrimp and carpaccio roast chicken. Yeah, that sounds good right now. Won't really need to carry that knife for a little bit, but here's our first encounter with a boss. Now, we really don't need to worry about him right now, but we will have to worry about that boss when we come back, because we're going to have to come back this way momentarily. And this will be our first genuine test of a boss fight. But that's particularly why I wanted Billy to make this trip, because Billy would be able to handle it a little better than Rebecca. Rebecca would be too fragile. But as we can see right here on the right, as soon as we enter the second floor, we have an ice pick. The ice pick is exactly what we need to get Rebecca out of that room. Welcome to the Ecliptic Salon. Please join us for a moment of relaxation. Oh yeah, lots of relaxation. Now, if you check your map real quick, you'll notice that this is actually the upper level of the train that was locked to us. So we obviously can't go any further with that gray spot in the way, because that's basically those eggs of the leeches. So, but we do have the capacity of going into this room right here, which is room 101. And then in here, we will find a few things that will be very handy to us. First and foremost would probably be the most apparent, and that is the form of this hunting shotgun, which we will need for our upcoming fight, at least in part. There's also some ink ribbons, which we cannot pick those up right now at present. And then there's also the handgun ammo, which we can pick that up, but I don't think we can pick up the other item. So let me take a quick look at my inventory. So we're going to go ahead and... yeah... we'll go ahead and leave the ammo here for now. This is unfortunately one of those situations where you're going to have to really kind of compromise and make good on some things. So, but the good thing is, I'm not going to take the shotgun ammo. Normally, that would be everybody's first move to do, but in actuality, I'm going to take the first aid item, because Billy doesn't have any health items, and really right now, I really wanted to have some health items. But the important thing is that's basically my plan. And when you see why, you'll probably appreciate it. This is another one of my strategies that I really like using, because it avoids me having to use an exceptional amount of firepower. And ultimately, it's you'll see when I do it. So right away, we're going to go ahead and grab the hunting shotgun, and we're going to get out the door and get to work. With the hunting shotgun equipped, we're going to just make good on this. And you're really not going to need a lot of firepower. The boss is actually called the Stinger. It's a giant scorpion. So you'll see firsthand that he's really intimidating looking, but he's really not that tough of a fight. So right away, as soon as he goes to do that little swing with the attack there, and then what we want to do is basically just get our ammo used up in this capacity. All right, so we pretty much used all of our ammo, which is fine, because I'm not going to need a bullet. All you're going to do is just stand here and stab them. And that's it. That is all you're going to do. And that's it. This is all you're really going to do. There's an air of excitement and sorts that goes into this, but ultimately this is probably the easiest boss fight you're ever going to have. And that's it. Done. And that's really all it takes. That's really all it fucking takes. I mean, it's quite amusing, but it is also kind of entertaining at the same time, because, you know, you would think it'd be a lot more imposing, a lot more, you know, detrimental, but no, not the case. So we're really not going to need the hunting shotgun at this point, so we're just going to leave that there, and we're going to grab the panel opener and take that with us. We could go back for the other ammos and such, but I'm not going to waste my time with that because we really don't need to. We'll just borrow enough ammo from Rebecca to get our groove and sort of just get down with that. So Billy is actually really tough. He really doesn't really need to do any fighting. He could take a lot more punishment than Rebecca too. So we're just gonna go about the process of just hustling back there to her. So with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to head over here to the left, and we're going to go about getting that ice pick up to Rebecca to the kitchen, from the kitchen to the dining car. So I'll go ahead and put that in the gondola and send that back up there to her. And then based on that, we're going to head over here, and we're just going to go ahead and just wait for her to like get that little conveyor belt and get herself out of there. And then we're going to regroup with Billy to the lower level. So once you're at the door, what you want to do is use that ice pick to get the door unstuck. And with it unstuck, you can get out now. And as soon as you leave the back room, you're going to want to immediately deviate left and head down the stairs because zombies will be up and moving. And you don't need to fight them, you just leave them behind.
Come on.
Okay.
So once you go ahead and she gets to the bottom of the stairs, you can switch immediately to Billy and immediately switch out items in that capacity. So right away, we're going to go ahead and exchange some items here. And that is going to be 2 bits of ammo. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And reload his weapon. So once we've used the hatch to open that thing, we're going to go ahead and immediately equip his ammo, his gun, and her gun is going to be equipped, and we're going to head on through into the crawl space. Make sure she is following you, because in the next area, you're going to have 2 dogs burst from their cages, and they will attack. If you work together, you can kill them pretty fast. But make sure Billy goes first, because ultimately... Done. And that's why I wanted Billy to go first, because he'll get the bite, and ultimately he'll be protective, and she won't get hurt. So that's exactly why I wanted Billy to go first. So, but right here, you'll see that there is actually some shotgun ammo we're going to grab. There's also a first aid item we're going to grab. There's also a gas can we're going to grab, but we can't carry that right now. In fact, you know, I think what we will do is we'll go ahead and switch to Rebecca, and we'll mix these herbs to free up some space. So mix the herbs, have them available for her, and then ultimately we're going to exchange some items here. So we're going to give her a first. Matter of fact, let's give her all the first aids because he don't really need them right now. She's going to be our workhorse. She's going to carry our shit for us. So that's why I really like to put Rebecca in. I'm sorry if that sounds really misogynistic, but yeah, he's the tank and she's the reserve. So pretty much that's what we're going to do. With Billy, we're going to go ahead and grab this gas can here because this is going to be relevant for a weapon for Rebecca. Now, this is another thing too. Molotov cocktails you make later in the game, but I like making Molotovs more for Rebecca than Billy because Billy, he may be good with his stepping with the use of a knife, but Rebecca has a greater range of control. Billy throws fucking Molotovs right at his feet, whereas Rebecca throws them pretty much on, she doesn't lunge herself forward and throw them, like she's gonna take a huge step forward and then ultimately end up missing completely. So we're gonna give her the key. No, actually, no, we're not gonna give her the key. Damn. Okay, I think we're gonna have to give her the ammo, and we're gonna have to take one of those first aids back because Rebecca actually has to grab a important item tool in the next area. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Now outside, through the baggage car, we're going to see that there is a puzzle here. So
Let's split up.
Okay.
we're going to have Billy come over here, and with our right stick, we'll have Rebecca come over here to grab the hook shot. So right here, we're going to need to have Billy pull the switch, which will open up the lever to grab the hook shot. This will enable us to get up that broken ladder. So switch to Rebecca and immediately grab it while the hook is pulled. And we have it. This device should only be used when inspecting difficult-to-access car routes or when connecting special trains. Return to its proper location after use. Where to use? There is a ladder outside the small window by the first floor section door of the third carriage. Fire the device so that it hooks high onto the ladder. Using the winch to climb after securing the hook, use the winch to lift up. This grappling hook can only lift one person at a time. Be aware that the unit may be damaged if lifting more than 80 kilograms. That is not really relevant. Rebecca or Billy, in their own respective fashion, can both use this item, so...
This way.
Okay.
So right away, we're going to head on through and proceed forward. So head back through the baggage area.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't want to do that.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So right away, as soon as you have this pretty much set up in that regard, we're going to go ahead and immediately, as soon as we run into this room, head into this room, you're going to split up and leave Billy there. That's particularly why I wanted Rebecca to run first, because ultimately that was going to be the big thing for her in that capacity. So, but right away, what we're going to do is we're going to drop this down on the ground for a second, and we're going to go ahead and grab those Molotovs. Now, you say instead of picking them up, you can just immediately pick them up and go to use them and make Molotovs right there on the spot. And now we can pick those other first aid up and make good on that. So,
I'll go alone.
no, you won't go alone.
Come on.
Forgive me,
Okay.
I'm splitting them up where I don't want to split them up. I'm kind of discombobulated in that capacity, so. But now that we have what we need, we're going to head back the way we came. We're going to use the hook shot. So, oh, Billy ran out of ammo. Alright, so I got to give him another batch of ammo. Actually, no. What I will do is I will give him... I'll have him equip the... I'll have him equip the knife. That's what I want. I want him to equip the knife. So right away, we're going to pretty much, this is where we're going to head into the next car, and then we're going to split up again.
I'll go check over there.
Okay.
So we're going to see about grabbing... you know, actually, we could probably mess with the Molotovs with him for a bit, but instead we're gonna go ahead and part company with Rebecca. We're gonna have Rebecca go up on the roof again. Oh, what am I doing? I keep screwing up my control. So with you got Rebecca equipped, go ahead and use the hook shot, and she will go out the window and onto the roof of the car. And then we're gonna, before we get anything further along with her, we're gonna go with Billy. We're gonna take Billy, control of Billy, and we're gonna see about proceeding with dealing with our threats here. Fuck out of here. And that's a wrap. So with those pretty much being taken care of, let's just make sure these guys are dead, which they are. And we're going to head along and meet Rebecca at the conductor's office, because that's where she's going to meet with Billy. So proceed ahead and then head into the conductor's office. And we got to wait for Rebecca there. Then we'll go back to Rebecca. You'll find a lot of my strategy involves a lot of switching characters back and forth, left and right. And for good reason. Because the fact is, in the grand scheme of things, it's really kind of just that simple. If you know how to really use them at that moment. So once you get to this little hole, we're going to drop down and drop this zombie. And that's a wrap. Now, we got a knife on the floor. Obviously, we could use that. We could take that. But we're going to go ahead and just not grab that because we really don't need a knife for Rebecca. Rebecca can't really use a knife really for shit. So we're going to go ahead and just leave that. But we will leave the hook shot here because we don't need that no more. We will need to grab that eventually later when we get to our destination. But we will instead need this jewelry box instead. And the reason why is when we go to open the jewelry box, we will find that it also is... We need to examine it, not use it. But once we open the jewelry box, we will open it and find that it is the second key we need to open that briefcase to get that card key. Now, before we head out through this passage, there should be something else here. No, just a knife. Okay, I thought it was a file. So take a look at your map real quick and immediately memorize, to commit to memory, just exactly what it is that you are pretty much going about doing. So the second we enter, we leave this room, we're going to want to go right and then left. Because this hallway is going to be permeated with leeches, and we're going to want to get through the room as quickly as possible. So, because the leeches will start to hatch in the hallway that's blocked off. So once they had we're going to head right, and then we're going to head left. So as soon as we enter this hallway, we're going to head immediately right, down there, and then left into this room. And this is where our resources are that we left with Billy. The shotgun shells, the handgun ammo, the zinc ribbon, and we're going to want to grab those. So grab the handgun ammo off the floor. Good. Grab the shotgun ammo off the floor. Good. And ultimately, I believe we have just the ink ribbons over here to grab as well. But we don't have room for them, so we're not going to really worry about them. But we will grab them at some point. In fact, when the train crashes, we'll make a point to grab everything there is to grab as fast as possible. Or at the very least, we'll grab everything beforehand, because we won't have the luxury of time to grab everything. So immediately bypass that section of the hallway and head back the way Billy came. So basically, just retrace your steps through this particular lounge area, car, whatever it's called, and head down the ladder. And here we are. Billy is waiting patiently, and so are we. So we're going to go ahead and exchange the shotgun ammo, combine them. He will grab the briefcase and use that. Basically, the keys will fit into that easy enough. In place of him, though, we're going to go ahead and grab these green and red herbs that we left behind and mix them to get a complete set of green and red herbs. Taking over as Billy again, we're going to go ahead and put the other key in. And then we are going to head back upstairs and go back and grab those ink ribbons. Because I kind of like to have all my things consolidated to one particular resource. So we're going to go ahead and grab that. Immediately just bypass the leeches like we did before. Leeches aren't really a terrible threat in Billy's case, but in Rebecca's case they can be, because they can do a little bit more damage to Rebecca than Billy. They're more of an annoyance for Billy, but in her case they're kind of a credible threat. So grab the ink ribbons from the floor and then immediately backtrack to where Rebecca is in the conductor's office. As you can see, they kind of squish underneath your foot when you run over them, which is probably a really nice, it's very satisfying. I don't know, maybe I'm a sicko who likes to like bust pimples or something. So take a moment, and I could grab the shotgun, but I'm really not interested in that. It's a very powerful shotgun, but the problem I have with it is the fact that it only fires 2 shells at a time, and I just can't see myself really making the most of that. I mean, I eventually probably will do that. I probably will grab that shotgun anyway, just because we need the hook shot and we need the shotgun as well. So, but before we head any further, we're going to go back over here. I should have grabbed Rebecca to come with me, but I didn't think about it. We're going to grab those other ink ribbons. Go ahead and grab the ink ribbons that were left behind by Rebecca. Switch back to Rebecca, and then head out the hallway, because we're going to regroup with her once we save. So head over to the key card, and then switch characters back to Billy and save the game. So once we get over here, we're going to look at our briefcase and open it, and we'll have a card key inside worth our time. Now, in lieu of the fact of our situation, we're going to go ahead and switch over some of that ammo to Billy. I like to go with double. So in her case, I like to give Rebecca 60 rounds or more to Billy, who only goes with 30 rounds. But in this particular case, I'm going to give him 45 rounds because he's running dry and she will soon be running dry. So We're going to reload him. I don't like to reload her. I probably should, but I won't for right now. And then basically just go from there with that. So, and that should be it. So we're going to go ahead and use Billy to open up this door. Go ahead and pull out your key card and use it. Won't need the key card anymore, so we're going to go ahead and throw that away. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to give her all of the ammo because I'm going to need to grab some resources for him pretty quickly. So, but I will go about maybe giving her the... I'll equip this pistol because it's going to definitely need that. So, and we got another cutscene.
This is Delta Team. This is Delta Team. We have gained control of the train. Over.
Understood.
This does not make any sense. How was the T-virus leaked? And why did it contaminate both the lab and the mansion, as well as a train almost 3 miles away?
That's irrelevant. We must make sure no knowledge of this gets out. Destroy the train. Completely. How far away are you from the nearest branch line?
About 10 minutes to...
What happened?
What happened? Your boys got unalive, that's what happened.
Come on.
Okay.
If you try to leave and you don't have them immediately teamed up, they'll require you to team them up, so... Now, upon heading outside, you will find that this was left with the soldiers that were just there. They're completely dead. The engine is badly damaged, there's no way to fix it, and the train is quickly picking up speed.
The train will either derail or crash. I gotta stop this thing.
I like how he just says, I gotta stop this thing, not plural, like we. We gotta stop this thing, guy. Alright, brake operations manual. Using the brake control, the following 3 steps are necessary to operate the brakes. Step 1, activating the controls. Brake controls are located in the following locations. The first car driver's compartment, and the rear deck of the 5th car. To activate the system, you must insert the magnetic key card into the device in the 5th car. This will supply power to both sets of controls. Step 2. Enter the rear deck codes. Enter the code for the rear deck unit to release the lock. After this, the driver's compartment code can be entered. Step 3. Enter the driver's compartment code. Enter the code for the driver's compartment unit to remove the lock. Upon completion of these 3 steps, the manual brakes can be used. So basically, we have to go back to the very back of the car where we got the hook shot, activate the code there, and then we have to activate the code at the front where the other character will be. So again, the characters have to split up. I'm going to send Rebecca to the back of the car to activate the rear brakes, and then I will give the cue to Billy to activate the front brakes, which will put us on the path forward. Who will stay behind, Rebecca or Billy? And I'm going to send Billy. I'm going to make Billy stay behind because there's an actual bonus cutscene that we get to enjoy with Rebecca going out to do the rear brake. A little risky,
I'll go over to the back deck and manipulate
but worth
the
it.
control panel for the brake.
Because
You
Rebecca
stay
is
here and
not
apply the
exactly
brake when
ready.
Okay. Rebecca,
Huh?
don't screw up, okay?
I won't.
Don't screw up, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and drop off some stuff. We're gonna need to give him the shotgun shells, and we're gonna go ahead and give him the first aid spray. And basically, that's what we're gonna need: the magnetic key card. And there's gonna be 2 batches of ammo. There's one over here behind him, which we're gonna grab. We got 3.5 minutes to do this, so we gotta make it fast. And then there's going to be a patch of ammo underneath here that we're going to grab. So we got both sets of ammo. And we're going to head out here and immediately run forward. So the zombies will get up, immediately just run past them. Don't fuck with them. You got to worry about them. And we're going to proceed forward with our next roundabout. Matter of fact, while you're at it, we're going to just go ahead and take a left. And there's going to be a zombie in the hallway. We're going to run right past him, behind his rear. Immediately dodge him. We got kind of hurt, but it's okay. We got healing items, so we're doing pretty good. But I really wanted to get through that section without wasting a lot of ammo. And here is the reason why. If you notice, when we were running through that first hall, Edward's body was guard, and there's Edward. Now a zombie.
Edward! No. Stop! Don't come any closer!
Damn it, Ben. Got too close. I didn't think he was that close. So, he got a little cheap bite out of me, but it's okay. So... So right over here to the left, you're going to see this card, this console here. This is basically what we're looking for. So go into your inventory and use the magnetic key card. Now here is where you need to be good with your math. So you got to count by 67, so you got to pretty much add it up here. So we're going to go with 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 10, and bam, 67. Easy.
This is Rebecca. I have engaged the control device for the brake. Over.
Roger. I'll put the brake on now.
This is where we switch to the control scheme of Billy. We do the puzzle here. This, we don't have a screen thing, so we need to be good with our math. So we got 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 80, 81. And that's another one. With that, we are pretty much finished with that section. Train will either derail or crash, and they ended up derailing anyway and crashing. So right away off the bat, we'll have this cutscene where they have basically landed in their respective destinations. I think it's weird. I'm wondering how Rebecca managed to not get killed. Rebecca? She was out in the back of the train.
Rebecca. I'm here.
Are you alright? Hey, you managed to stop the train.
Yes, we managed.
We have to find a way out.
So right away, we're going to have a few things we have to grab. I definitely do not want her wasting ammo, so we're not going to have her do that. This is unfortunately one of those situations where we're going to end up having to freaking come back for an item, regrettably, so. We'll have to leave the shotgun behind. I was hoping to grab that too, but we gotta move. We ain't got time to play around, so immediately grab the hook shot and get out of the area. And you'll enter into this little tunnel system of a sort. Now, I'm not entirely sure if there's resources here. There should be shotgun ammo or handgun ammo, I believe. I'm not sure, but I'm going to just assume that there is and just walk through the middle, pressing the X button repeatedly to search for an item. But I'm thinking there's probably not going to be one here. So, okay, obviously there's nothing here worth grabbing, so we're going to head up into this little alcove here through the sewage water and climb up. And with that being said, you'll climb up the ladder into wherever you're going now.
The Umbrella Research Center? The first general manager, Dr. James Marcus.
Who on earth are those people?
She's just a rookie, a member of STARS.
What about the mail?
I'm unfamiliar with him.
Attention. This is Dr. Marcus. Please be silent as we reflect upon our company motto. Obedience breeds discipline. Discipline breeds unity. Unity breeds power. Power is life.
Who are you?
It was I who scattered the T-virus in the mansion. Needless to say, I contaminated the train, too.
What?
Revenge. On Umbrella.
Dr. Marcus?
10 years ago, Dr. Marcus was murdered by Umbrella. You helped them, didn't you?
So we get a little bit of a plot there for the scope of what we're working towards. So here is pretty much going to be your main hub. This is going to be your main base of operations. It's going to be this hallway. Now proceed down the stairs and to the left, and here is where everything you need is going to be. Everything you need. Everything you're going to want to use, everything you're going to want to leave or pick up is going to be here. So we're going to drop the hook shot. We won't need that for a little while, but we will pick up the green herb and the red herb and the ammo over here and the ink ribbons. So we have pretty much everything we require in that capacity. We'll go ahead and mix those herbs, and then we're going to leave one behind. Switch over to Billy. We're going to drop the shotgun ammo. We're going to drop the healing items, because we're not going to need those. We want to save as much space and resources as we possibly can. Grab the ink ribbons, though, off the table and add them to your collective. Now, as soon as you get a chance, take a look at your map.
Roger.
Well, actually, no, not go around.
Roger.
Check your map. This is pretty much the training facility's main first floor. obviously you can pretty much switch to in terms of necessities, in terms of that. So you want to find everything you need to in that capacity and that go-to. So right there is pretty much your main go-to. Now we cannot go out this way because the door is sealed by these knights and their swords crossed. So we can't go that way. We could go to the left room. This takes us into the left hallway on the first floor, but that is also not a good idea because we don't have the resources to deal with a potential threat of a leech man, which we will encounter. So this is obviously the way we came in, so we won't go that way. So the number one rule I always make a habit of doing is I always go through the measures of doing the business of going about taking on enemies in a first floor basis. So when I'm searching buildings or exploring environments, I do it by case level. So we do the ground level, then we do the second level, then the third, and then we go to the sub levels when there's no other levels go up at ground level. So pretty much that is my go-to in terms of that measure. So that's what I'm going to do. But we will go ahead and give Billy a couple pieces, give him like 2 clips of ammo, because ultimately he's going to be pretty much doing the grunt work for the most part. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We are going to also drop one more thing, and that is the ink ribbons. So we're going to leave those here. We won't need them for a minute. So just get that out of the way. I like to have my ammo, and I'm OCD like this, so you'll find me setting up a lot of stuff like this in this capacity. So another thing we're going to do is we're going to switch her idle off, attack idle off, and his off. So that's pretty much what we're going to do. All right, so now that we pretty much have got ourselves sorted out, we're going to start exploring the training facility. So head through the left in Billy's left. Head through here into the dining area. And immediately we're going to have threats in the form of zombies. Get the fuck off her, bro. She got hurt, so unfortunately I should have moved her back. I didn't move her back, and that was stupid on my part, so we're going to heal her. And we're going to just make a measure of letting Billy take the lead from now on. And right around here and around, you'll find handgun ammo, which you will go ahead and give to her. I'll actually probably play with her and make Billy go forward. I'll push Billy forward with the right analog stick. So we go to open this door, and we find that it is actually a fire motif key. So we need a key with a fire motif. We can't get that. So we're going to head on through here. And over here we will find another body, but we're not going to mess with it because we can't attack it right now. So that pretty much is what we're going to do there. Now, here we have a passage going left and a passage going right. The left will take us down to the basement, which we can't access right now because the steamer is pretty much on the fritz.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
Way.
The controls. I'm still trying to remember the controls. So, pull up your map. L2 is the map. I got to remember that. We can't go down there, leading down into the basement, as you can see right there. We can't go down that way because it's sealed. So, we're going to go left instead. So, right away, we're going to head down this way and have Billy at our favor side. And as soon as we enter this hallway, we're going to immediately be on the ready. We're just going to wait. Come on. Shit, that was a bad time to run out of ammo. Now, in lieu of this little detail, what we're going to do is we're going to take Billy as the lead, and we're going to go ahead and take the initiative and have Rebecca follow suit. Okay, nope, we didn't need to. Actually, there's no zombie. I thought there would be another zombie here, but that's good because we got a shotgun now. Billy will use a shotgun. We'll get him using up his ammo in his handgun, and pretty much we'll keep it that way. So grab the shotgun, and also grab the fuel gas on the ground, and also grab the statue, which is a key point to what we need next. So And the form, oh, we can't carry any more items. So, okay, we're going to need to give Rebecca the fuel. Matter of fact, we'll also give her the additional handgun ammo. And we will go ahead and get the black statue. Now, once we get that, go ahead and take an examination of it, and it basically will give you, it's a stone statue with a single eerie looking wing on its back. So it's going to be a demon black statue. So it's basically a demon. But once we have that, we're going to go ahead and grab our handgun ready and get ready to head up this ladder. Now, we can't go any further on the first floor, so this will take us to the second floor like I originally presented. So, with Billy coming in with the rear, he'll watch the rear. Take a quick look at her ammo and see what she's got in terms of reserve. And take a quick look at Billy's ammo and see what he's got. We're going to take over with Billy, and we're immediately going to go ahead and take the initiative. I think that's all the enemies have been dealt with, so we're not going to need this handgun anymore, so we're going to ditch it. Matter of fact, we'll probably take it back to the main hall and we'll leave it there. I don't want to leave it here because in the event we do need an emergency weapon, we won't be able to use it again. So we're going to go ahead and take it with us. But Billy pretty much is done with using the handgun for now. Instead, we're going to go ahead and give Rebecca the reins now and give her the chance to get those green herbs there. So with that being said, now we can take over as her and go back along the path on the second floor balcony. Now this also enables us to unlock the door, which was locked from the other side, and enables us to get through to the main hall again. I believe this is the lecture hall that we're entering right now at present. Now, as soon as we enter the hall, we'll notice that there's a door on our right that's got knight swords blocking it, much like the front door. And pretty much that will be our main thing there. There's a door on the right we could go into, but we're not going to go into that.
I'll go.
Okay.
We're going to leave Billy right here because we don't need him following us around like a lost puppy dog. Over here on the left, though, go around and you'll find that there's a file on this little console. Regulations for trainees. Training facility mission. The training facility will raise a new generation of model employees to serve the future of the Umbrella Corp. Applying the strictest and most rigorous training standards, this facility will, without regard for gender, race, or creed, produce only the best candidates to be the future global leaders of Umbrella Corporation. We look forward to the development of your leadership qualities. Training facility guidelines: discipline, obedience, and unity. These three words are the basic principles which govern Umbrella Corporation employees and are to be considered the law of this facility. Keep these words in mind at all times. Devote yourselves to your training and bring honor to yourselves and the corporation. James Marcus, Director, Umbrella Corporation Management Training Facility. Bring honor to yourselves and the corporation. I mean, it sounds like a cult, really, when you put it like that. It does. It sounds like a freaking cult. So once we get that file, we're going to head up here on the steps to this little whatchamacallit. Security system is locked. Please insert a system disk. So far we're finding that we need a few things. We need a fire motif key. We have a black statue. We have a system disk we need to find, and pretty much a few things. So we're sort of getting our groove in terms of knowing what items are necessarily needed in this capacity. So I'm moving Billy a little closer to the door and just keeping him right there. Rebecca will run down here now, and over here you will find shotgun shells, which she can grab if she can. I'm not sure if she's got room. Okay, she has room, so we're going to grab the shotgun shells. We're going to grab the ink ribbons, and we're going to save our game. So this will be our first save in the progression of this new facility run. Switch to Billy.
Come on.
Okay.
And immediately get her to follow you, and you can actually walk right out of the hall and get right into the flow of moving forward with it. So, and then once you're out here, you're going to head over here to these scales, and it will say, there's something written on the base. When good and evil are brought into balance, a new path will be opened before you. So, here is where we're going to put our statue that we collected earlier. And we can see that that is a bit too heavy, so we need to find its opposite. So we're going to head about going down this way and head down the stairs. Grab the shotgun shells that we've left behind, and we're going to go ahead and grab the ink ribbons we left behind. That way we have a complete condensation of what we built up to in that regard. So once we have those pretty much picked up, we're going to go ahead and drop the ink ribbons. We're going to hand the shotgun shells to Billy. We're going to drop his handgun on the floor. And then basically that's where we're going to do it. So, now, if my memory is correct, we have another business of sorts to see to. So basically we're going to go about
You stay here.
Okay.
exploring with Rebecca. And in this particular instance, we're going to go about going into this hallway over here. Now, the reason why I'm sending Rebecca is because we're going to have an encounter with the Leech Man, and we're going to get rid of the Leech Man rather fast. But it seems to do a better job with killing the Leech Man versus with Rebecca versus with Billy. So right away, we're going to go ahead and get started with that. So as you can see, once we go into this hallway, we'll see that it is pretty much just a singular hallway, very kind of Z, like S-shaped in its way, but the only one door that's open is the one over here on the left. The opposite door is locked, so we're not going to need to worry about that too much, but we're going to go ahead through here, because there are a few resources we can grab in here that will be very useful to us. So first and foremost, as soon as we enter this room, we will find that over here there is a set of bottles, I believe, somewhere. We have a gas can here, and we have, I believe we have bottles somewhere. I just got to find them. But we have a green herb, so we want to grab that as well. Oh, there they are right there. I didn't see them. You see them right here on the floor down here. You have to look really close. You have to be really looking for them. But we're going to go ahead and grab them and make ourselves some Molotovs. And then as soon as we have them equipped, we're not going to use them. We're going to just run right out of the room, because as soon as we go to leave, a Leech Man will be present. So we're going to wait for him to come moseying his way over to us, and then we're going to run right past them. Now, in his human form, he's very slow and plodding, but the minute you get close to him, he becomes very viscous and very fast and more aggressive. So, as you can see, when he goes aggressive, he'll turn into that. So, at that point, you want to just run out of the room. Now, the important thing I stress to players is when you do shoot that fucker, he will start to take damage and he will get more aggressive. And as you shoot him, he will become more violent and he'll start to fall apart. But if you do enough damage with guns, he'll actually blow up, and he'll do huge damage to you if you're caught in the blast. So you don't want to have that happen. That's why you want to use the Molotovs. Molotovs are, if everybody, fire is like the bane of every leech creature's existence. So destroying him with fire is probably the easiest and most safest way to dispatch him. So we got that. We're going to go ahead and leave the Molotovs here, and we're going to go ahead and just go with that. I'm going to combine these and basically just have that available in that room. So, and that is pretty much where we're going to be. So right now we're going to head regroup with her and check your map real quick. Now, obviously, we can see that there is very much in the way of nowhere else we can really go that we haven't already gone to. With the exception of the upper hallways there and there, which we will probably end up venturing to. Next, we'll head to this upper balcony here, and then we'll head to that other one over there. So, matter of fact, I'm going to take Billy and go do that upper hallway right now. Because he's a bit more durable, and I don't want her getting hurt. So we're going to split up with Rebecca, and we're going to take Billy up to this upper hallway here to the right on the balcony. Now in here, we will find a few things. Number one, we will find a file on the center table. Notice to all staff, this document is very old. Much of the writing is illegible. Regular meetings of the vaccine research and infectious agents teams will be held. Both meetings are security level 5 and will be held in the following locations. First floor West Operations Control Room and the second floor Southeast Meeting Room. The entry code shall be 815. So we know it's a time, but perhaps it's not a time at all. That is the code. So we have to keep that file in moat and present, and then basically go about looking around over here for anything else, particularly ammo, health, whatever, which we know there is none now. So now we can go ahead over here and grab this item that's in the shelf of this little cabinet, which is a crank handle. Now, as soon as we grab it, crows will smash through the windows and try to attack us, which is why I wanted to run out of it real fast. So I'll get a quick look at that. And it's pretty much like it says, it's a crank handle, so we pretty much know that. But we're going to head over here, and we're going to go about the process of getting our next major task. So
come on.
Roger.
Now, once you get her regrouped with you, you're going to want her to come with you because you have to split up again. But I'm going to let her be the workhorse this time because she's going to have some zombies to kill, and I don't want to waste precious shotgun ammo for the fight to come. So we're going to let her take the lead. Engage the zombies further down the path. I see, and that's the unique thing. I like to really kind of switch up the controls. As soon as she was getting ready to aim her weapon, I pressed her back with the right analog stick because I wanted Billy to take the kill, because it would be a lot more easier and a lot more less chaotic in that capacity. So once you pretty much dispatch the zombies, come down here and you'll find there's another door. We can't unlock it because we don't have the fire Molotov key, but what we can do is head into this next room. So right away, we're going to have Billy step back, and we're going to take the spot in terms of lead. And we're going to go into this room. Inside this room, it's kind of like a bit of a study, so we're going to find a few things here. Number one, note the map that's on the main desk at the front. This gives us a full layout of the entire training facility. Third floor, basement 1, second floor, and the first floor. So we pretty much have an entire layout of the building, which is important. So with that being the case, that's what we want. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the measure of getting a couple things of relevance from Billy. Number one, we're going to borrow his shotgun. Now, because the fact is she's going to be dealing with some considerably relevant threats, but the fact is I don't want her to be without some firepower to deal with those threats. Billy's going to pick up the microfilm A, and then and then Rebecca's going to come over here and see that the candle is burnt out. So the door is locked. You have to light the candle in order for that door to lock. But we don't have a working lighter yet because Billy's lighter doesn't have any fuel. Now, proceed over here. And over here, you will find a computer has been used recently, and you will find another ink ribbon. So go ahead and grab that ink ribbon, but hand that to Billy because you're not going to need it. Where you're going, you're not going to have a safe spot, so just hand it to Billy. Now, it is kind of a daunting thing to worry about Billy being without his shotgun, considering I've already ditched his handgun, but it's kind of an important thing because where Rebecca's going, she's going to have some heavy hitters of enemies.
You stay here.
Yeah.
So Billy will pretty much allow her to take the lead. I will equip the shotgun for her, and then Billy will basically use the crank to get her where she needs to go. So get the crank out and use it. At this present state, right away, as soon as you get to the top, Rebecca will be ambushed by roaches. Eesh. Fucking nasty they are. See what I mean, though? Just 2 hits. That's all it took. And she's already in caution. So you're going to run into a lot of circumstances like that where it's basically like that, and it's a huge pain in the ass. So right here on the right, we got to take a note of the clock, but the minute hand is missing, so we have a minute hand to find. So with that being said, we're going to continue onward, but pay very careful attention to the nature of her health because right now she's hurt. We're going to switch back to Billy and immediately go back about navigating our way back to the main hall, which is where we want to be. Rebecca is safe right now. She doesn't have any threats in the area, but right now we're going to get rid of Billy. We're going to take Billy and deal with a threat of our own. So, in the form of a zombie. Sucker. So as you can see, Billy could take a little bit more in the way of punishment. He's already been bitten a couple times, and he's been hit, and he's been bitten a couple times, but he's only at light caution, but she's down to like orange caution. So he's definitely got his ducks in order in terms of his ability. So once we pretty much have gotten to that point and that far, we're going to head back to the main hall. And then we're going to stop right here, and we're basically going to just drop the film right where we have it, because that's going to be relevant for our pickup later on. We're going to need that. And then we're going to go downstairs, and we're going to save our game again, because I don't want to take the risk of Rebecca getting killed, and ultimately we have to go through all that process again. So we're going to grab the ink ribbons, we're going to save the game with Billy, and then we're going to proceed with Rebecca. And you'll be doing a lot of this, especially if you're playing on hard. You'll be doing a lot of this. Probably not as often because you probably won't have a lot in the way of save, material for ink ribbons. But this is really what you want to do because Rebecca can be a big liability. Billy, I'm not so worried about, but Rebecca can be a liability. I mean, you saw for yourself; she was at full health, 2 hits, she's down to caution. So we're going to switch over to Rebecca now, and we're going to head on outside. Now, outside here, there are going to be a couple of crows. So we're going to just make a measure of just being very careful and slow because I don't want to scare any of them again. Got rid of 2 crows. That's a good thing. Don't want to use that green herb yet. But we have a red herb as well, so we're going to use one of them eventually, hopefully, here. Bang, 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 baby. So once all the crows have been dispatched, you don't necessarily have to kill them, but I decided to just have fun. So the most basic thing you want to do is just run out of the area, but you got the 2 green herb and red herb there, so you want to grab that too. But once you pretty much have gone through that, you're pretty much going to be here on the 3rd level now, which is 1 level up from where you originally are. So our primary concern right now, priority 1, is to get back to Billy, because we don't want to run this any further than we have to with Rebecca alone, for obvious reasons. So we're going to go about doing that process. So immediately head through this huge hall and down the stairs. Ignore the 2 doors to our left, 1 and 2. Well, no, just the 1. I'm sorry, my mistake. I thought there was 2 doors. 1 door to your left, and immediately unlock the door, and this will bring us back out to the main hall.
This way.
Okay.
So right away, what we're going to do is we're going to use our healing item and basically hand the shotgun back over to Billy. But before we do that, we're going to head back the way we came, because we're going to work together to clear that one room. That's going to have a couple of roaches, which are those giant bug enemies that we've encountered. So we're going to hand the shotgun back to Billy. And we're going to go into basically this room right here on the left, on the right. So once we have Billy in control, we're going to go ahead and make him lead. We're going to take his shotgun and Rebecca, make sure she's got her idle attack off. So basically we're going to head into here and basically take the spear and lead with Billy. We will have 2 roaches in this room. We're going to take them down. Motherfucker. I just healed that bitch. Alright, anyway, we're going to grab the grenade launcher, which we can't grab because we don't have any room, so we're going to have to make room. Go ahead and give the Molotovs to her, and grab the grenade launcher. And then over here on the left in the fireplace, we will find some shotgun shells. Go ahead and grab them when you can. Thank you. And then we have the shotgun shells. And then switch to Rebecca and head over and grab that little statue figurine, which will be the white statue for the puzzle in the main hall of the training facility. And then over here, make note of the water door, which is the water motive key, which we can't get right now, but we will. So instead, we're going to head back, and we're going to head upstairs. And once we've made it outside, we're going to go up the stairs quickly. Hurry up the stairs. Now, further along the path into this area, you'll find another door with swords crossing it, so we can't go that way. However, what we are going to do is over here, we're going to have a crank. Billy was going to need to do this job because he's the only one strong enough to do it. So,
let's split up.
Okay.
We're going to split up with Billy and take control of Rebecca. Instead of having the healing item on her, we're going to go ahead and hand it off to Billy. We'll hold on to his knife for the time being. And we're going to head about over here and grab ourselves down the ladder. And then over here, where there is an animal cage. So, and this is really kind of crazy because I've actually killed her before one time. I actually dropped the cage on her and it killed her. So be very careful when you do this part. Do switch it. Do not drop the fucking cage. And then once the cage is open, switch characters to Rebecca, walk over and grab the fire motif key. And at this point, we will have our second boss encounter in the form of a giant centipede. Which will capture Rebecca, and we will have to rescue her. So, as soon as the fight starts, immediately equip your grenade launcher. And once you've exhausted all your grenade launcher ammo, you want to switch to your shotgun and immediately follow pursuit. Wait for when the centipede stops moving so that you don't waste your shots. And that's it.
Rebecca! Are you all right?
Yes, thank you.
So it's pretty even kill to actually get all your 6 shots from your grenade launcher right off on the first go, if you're confident enough that he won't get away in between volleys. But he does have a stagger where he actually flinches every time when he gets hit with a grenade launcher, as you saw. So the good thing is that is actually a good thing for us because it makes our job a lot easier. So once you get a look at the key, you'll find it is a fire motif key, which we can use to unlock those 2 doors we were unable to open to before. So once you're back in control, switch to Rebecca and immediately retreat back to the main training facility's main hall. First and foremost, the main reason is we're going to use that white statue on that puzzle at the 2nd floor with the altar. And then the second reason is we're going to drop some resources because we're not going to really need them yet. So head over here and immediately grab and put the white statue on the scales. Now it has adjusted it slightly, but it has not adjusted completely because obviously the wing is a little heavier on the other statue. So what we're going to do is head downstairs now. Billy will keep up. He'll catch up on his own terms. And what we're going to do now is drop off a few things here. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to go ahead and keep the motif key, clearly. Let's wait for Billy to get to us because we're going to need him. He's the one who's got something worth dropping off anyway. So we're going to go ahead and give the we're going to give the knife back to Billy. We're going to give the healing item back to Rebecca. We're going to drop the grenade gun. And then we're pretty much going to just go with that in that capacity. So go ahead and we're going to go ahead and part with Billy at the moment.
You stay here.
Yeah.
And he'll stay here. So we'll let her go first. Because we don't really have a lot of threats in this particular area. Oh, I stand corrected. That's okay, because I actually got the ammo to burn, and I'm okay with burning a little bit of it. So we pretty much dispatched those 2 zombies, so now we can proceed to open up this other door with this key. So once we have opened the door, head inside, and you'll get a couple of things that are of relevant importance. So right away, as soon as we enter the kitchen area, they're going to find a few things. Number 1, note the bottles. We're going to grab those for making more Molotov cocktails. Number 2, the obviously apparent lighter fluid, which is going to be relevant for Billy, which we don't have room for. What the fuck? So I guess Billy will have to come with us. I guess I fucked up on that one. So I guess we'll have to regroup with good old Billy. So we'll bring Billy along, and he'll grab what Rebecca can. But hey, you know what? All things considered, it's not too terrible. It's, a learning experience. I'm still trying to refresh my memory, but ultimately, you can ultimately see I'm there's certain things I remember and some things I forget. So once we enter here, we're going to go over here and grab the lighter fluid and use that to give ourselves a lighter. So take the moment to search around, make sure there's nothing else worth grabbing. And I don't think there is. So
This way.
Okay.
immediately get her attention and have her come with you. And we're going to head back out the way we came. Now, before we proceed on with the second door that we found in the fire with the fire key, we're going to go ahead and we need to drop off another. Well, we're going to switch items. In fact, let me see. We'll go ahead and give him the fire key, and we'll go ahead and grab the gas can for Rebecca. And with the gas cans, you can make more Molotovs and combine them, and then leave the other gas cans behind. And with that being said, we're going to head back up the way we came. And head back into the main meeting room. I don't know if you would call this a meeting room. It seems more like a class with all the consoles laid out and shit. It seems more like a lecture hall. So we're going to head on to the left, back the way we came, where we got Rebecca up that elevator, where she fought those insects. And then we're going to head around and through. And then with the fire key equipped, we're going to go ahead and use that to open the new door. And then once we've used it, we can throw it away. Easy. Now in here, it's basically a really cluster-fucked office, but we have a few things here. Number one, I believe there's a file there behind it on the right, on the left. No, not right there. I thought there was one there. My mistake. But what we are going to do is we're going to push this table further along. And then immediately over here, we're going to switch the light. And we're going to push the table further along, just below the moose head, just above the fireplace. Now, a few things we're going to grab here. Number one, obviously, the shotgun shells on the far side of the room. Switch to Rebecca now. Grab the handgun ammo on the desk table to our left. The file just over by Billy. Assistant Director's Diary, September 2nd. A useless bunch of trainees, as always. Where does headquarters find these idiots? We did get a couple of decent ones, though, so I can't complain, I guess. William and Albert, they might have a future. William Birkin and Albert Wesker, to some of you Resident Evil fans, September 25th. Scholar Will, Practical Al, they really are opposites, and they're always competitive in everything they do. There's something ruthless and cruel about them both. October 7th. Got a sudden call from the director. It was to tell me to encourage a rivalry between those two. It's the first time since this training facility was built that Director Marcus has ever showed interest in anything other than his research. Oh well, whatever. Orders are orders. I'm going to have them tearing at each other's throats. So we pretty much know that good old Marcus was wanting to see them get into it, but they ended up being compadres. So right away, here at the top, once you turn that light on, you can see this little minute hand an iron needle, but it's actually a minute hand once you examine it. So once we have that, we're going to drop down here, take control of good old Billy again, and have him lead. Now, this is another instance where we're going to split up. Billy is going to go ahead into this room.
I'll go alone.
Roger.
And good old Rebecca is going to take part in her own operation and her own task. So, matter of fact, we're going to give her the task of solving the clock puzzle, and Billy will enter the room with the candle. So, as you can see, I like to split the characters up a lot because I can do double the duties in capacity by switching back and forth. So once she's outside the room, we're going to switch back to this one and use the key, the lighter, excuse me, to open the path forward to this room over here. Switching back to Rebecca, we're going to go ahead and bebop back to the main hall and then up to the 3rd floor. Again, where we fought the centipede, but we're going to activate that clock if you remember correctly. So once we have the candle lit, you'll hear the door unlock. And you'll see Billy's head turn towards the door. So you pretty much have an indication that says, yeah, it's pretty much done. So once we go ahead and get that door unlocked, we're going to go back to Rebecca and proceed on with our own task. So immediately run all the way back to the back of the 3rd floor, upper hallway, Chamberlain, and then outside onto the 3rd floor balcony. And then once outside, you're going to head back through this passage where we fought those 2 roaches. And then we'll switch back to Billy, and we'll head into this new room and engage a couple of zombies. But thankfully, we don't have to really worry too much about a threat, because we're pretty much in a position where we're going to be like impossible to kill. Immediately, you can aim up and shoot a zombie's head off and kill them both without much of a fuss. Easy and disposable. So that's pretty much a done deal. On the left, notice the shelf where you'll find some grenade launcher rounds. Go ahead and grab those, and then quickly mount up on this upper little plateau. And then take a note over here and approach the opposite side of this bookcase and push it out of the way. And you'll find an important key. Excuse me. You'll find an important key item in the Book of Good, which is another relevant puzzle item that we need to grab. Once you grab that, quickly switch back to Rebecca and approach the clock. Now, if you look to your files, you'll notice that we had that where is it? That is the first set of files. We have notice to all staff. This is the answer to the puzzle. So this is 8:15. So we need to have it on 8:15 the exact time. So go ahead and use the minute needle on the clock. Turn the hour hand to the right, not the left. Excuse me. 5, 10, 15. No, I was wrong. I was right the first time. Damn it. 8, as in 8 o'clock. So, 11, 10, 9, 8. Now switch to your minute hand and go 5, 10, 15. And then once you've done that, the doors that have a clock over them will open. This is the room on the first floor, which was in the file, and this is the room on the second floor in the main hall, which was also on file. But we're going to go ahead and take Billy now and get him back to the main hall. You pretty much can hear the clock works turning, and unfortunately they're pretty much in a state where they can't really go anywhere, so Rebecca can't go back down, so they're going to have to go up. So with that being said, immediately make your way back to the main hall on the second floor from the third floor. So right there, we pretty much have ourselves back in the main hall, in the main training room, and then Billy will be joining us momentarily from the main sectional. And effectively, we can then regroup and proceed with our next part of the play. Before we do that, though, we're going to go ahead and open up the book of good. So get the binding and open the book, and you'll find a set of angel wings. Wait for Rebecca to join you momentarily, and then you'll want to drop something into her lap so that you can actually do your job and put those wings on. So what you're going to want to do is look at the statue and take the one off the right. Use it, combine it with the wings. Don't want to take the other statue for it, but you want to put this one back once you put the wings on. But you'll find now that it's actually heavier than the devil. So we actually have to find the devil's components now. But now that once you're together, you're going to go about the process of taking down the other threat. But actually what we want to do is we want to have Rebecca with us when we do this. So we're going to head on inside once we have our business at hand. Alright, so that pretty much takes care of that. Over here on the table, you'll find another file, a verse of poetry. The moon bows to the earth swears loyalty to the sun, and the great law of the sun governs all things. This itself is the keystone, the pointer to glory. All our hands cannot open the door to heaven. Now, with that being pretty much dispatched, over here you'll find there is some shotgun ammo we will grab for Billy. Over here, we will have a second microfilm, which we will need, much like the microfilm A, except this is microfilm B. So we have that now. And now we will proceed with the other stage of our unlocked door from our clock-solved puzzle. So right away, we're going to head downstairs. But first, we have to we'll grab the grenades back to Billy, and we'll grab this microfilm here. Come to think about what we will also do is we will actually grab the, we will drop the knife, and we'll pick up the grenade launcher with Billy, because I really want to get some fresh grenades inside that grenade gun. So now that we pretty much have that, we can pick up the knife now. We'll put down the grenade gun, because I like to save that for bosses, not really fast enemies. So we'll drop the grenade gun, and we'll go ahead and give Billy the 2 microfilms.
I'll check it out.
Okay.
Leave Rebecca here, and we're going to head down into the main hall and go about doing that. Well, actually, no, I don't think we really want to do that, because I think there's some herbs in there that Billy can't mix, so we may have to send Rebecca instead. So we're going to go ahead and give her the films and have her go in his place. So the good thing is she'll have healing items, and she's got Molotovs, so Billy will stay behind, and we'll just send Rebecca. But this is the particular instance where you really want to really kind of strategize who goes and does what is going to be in the area. If you can commit that to memory, there's nothing you can't accomplish or overcome. So obviously there's a leech man in that hall, in that room. So right now we're not going to go in there. In fact, we're never going to go in there again. That's why I really want to get that over and done with. But now that this door is open, we can head into here. There are going to be 2 zombies in here, so we'll dispatch them as quickly as possible. So once we pretty much have dispatched the zombies, we're going to come around and we're going to find some ammo here. Alright, we didn't have any healing items, but that's okay. At the very least, I wanted to be sure that it was something manageable, so I'll take what I can get. But here we have a microfilm projector, and this is important, so we're going to use those microfilms that we got. First thing we're going to do is we're going to use microfilm A. Which basically is the classroom where we're in on the 2nd floor, as we all saw when we went to do the fire room key. And we're going to insert microfilm B. And we have a series of numbers and letters. There's something written on top of the picture of the seats. Now we got the system disk, which we need. So we'll take the system disk, and we'll have a new file in the form of the microfilm image, an image resulting in the overlaying microfilm A and B. Numbers appear on the secrets and conference room. So that's what it is, conference room. So once we have that, we're going to take ourselves, and you're not even going to need your gun equipped, because there's going to be a leech man waiting around the corner. we're going to just beeline it out of this hallway. He will not follow us. So as soon as we get out the door and walk around in camera shot, he should appear around the next corner. Not this corner, but the next corner. So right away, we're going to just run and immediately vacate them. And that'd be that. So once we pretty much have dispatched that particular threat, we're going to go ahead and head upstairs.
Come on!
Call Billy.
Okay.
You're going to need his help for this. So head up the stairs and into the main room here.
You stay here.
Okay.
So have Billy wait right there, and then have Rebecca run up the stage and immediately insert the system disk. Please input code 2D. So there's no input device nearby.
Yeah.
I'll go.
Okay.
So what we want to do is head down here, and then we want to look at our files. So we have the stage with 2D, so we want the first, third. Okay, so we want the third. I see where it is. So basically 2D is going to put Rebecca here. I'll step position her here, and then basically she'll press that position. She'll press that button there. And then Billy will come back this way, and he will be in position here. And the idea is you want to press the number and the letter. So first we'll switch to Rebecca, 2, Billy, D. And then we have unlocked something else. Alright, all the swords that have been lifted from the gates.
This way.
Roger.
So pretty much right now, what we want to do is go about the measure of just dropping a little bit of resources. First thing and foremost is we want to go back to the, I think we want to go to the 3rd floor right now. Just because there's a few things we have that we need to take with us, and we need to drop them off, because we're not going to have the privilege of opportunity to go back and get them a second time. So probably right away off the bat. Well, no, actually, I think what we'll do is we'll go out. Thinking, where were the gates with the swords? Okay, yeah, I remember. Yeah, stupid. We had one room that was in here that had sword locked doors. So we're going to go ahead and deal with that. If you're tuning in, thank you for coming by. Appreciate it. So we're going to head over here and proceed around the corner with letting her take the lead in this case. So, seeing as we were already here, this would have been a more logical place to go, would be the store first and foremost. Goodbye. So once we've dealt with that fucker, head into the double doors in this little hallway. And then inside, you will find a magnificent looking chess room replica. On the right, you'll find some handgun ammo. Grab that for Rebecca. Then on the left,
I'll go.
Leave Billy behind because he's going to be relevant to this puzzle solving sequence. Grab the flame ammo, the grenade gun ammo with fire. You're going to want that. Also, grab the ink ribbons as well. We're going to need those. And then proceeding around this section, we're going to want to look at the chess set here, which is going to give us the answer to the puzzle. So we have a ended in checkmate. So we have the king held in checkmate by the two rooks. So we'll take a look at it with Billy. The king is in position. So we have to move this white king down. And then we're going to walk around, push it over, and then push it up directly parallel with the rook. And we have our next puzzle and our next puzzle key. Switch over to Rebecca and acquire it. Who can't carry it? Of course not. Ah. Head over to Billy. Give him the damn grenade rounds.
Let's go.
Okay.
You stay here.
Yeah.
All right, now we'll grab the Book of Evil. Now this will have the final piece to your little puzzle in the main training room, which is relevant. So we want to have that handy for that particular instance, as well as a diary, Marcus's diary, December 4th. We finally did it, the new virus. We have called it Progenitor, the Progenitor. I want to carry it back and start detailed investigations immediately, March 23rd. Spencer says he's going to start a company. Well, I don't care, as long as I can continue my research into Progenitor. He can do what he likes. August 19th. Spencer keeps asking me to be the director of his new training facility. Maybe it's because of the business, but he's becoming intolerably pushy. But maybe I could turn this to my advantage. I need a special facility to properly explore all this virus's secrets, a place where no one will get in the way. November 30th. Damn that Spencer. He came to complain to me again today. He thinks of Progenitor as nothing more than a money-spinning tool. Fool. But if his influence continues to grow, it can only be bad for my research. If I'm to properly develop Progenitor, I must strengthen my own position too. September 19th at last. I've discovered a way to build a new virus type with Progenitor as a base. Mixing it with leech DNA was the breakthrough I needed. I call this new virus T for Tyrant. October 23rd, it's no good. I can't hope for real progress experimenting on mere rodents. Only humans can be a proper mammalian subject for the experiments. Otherwise, I'll never make any real progress. November 15th, someone seems to suspect something about my experiments, but perhaps it's just my imagination. Well, if anyone does get too close, they can find themselves unexpectedly assisting in my research. January 13th. At last, they are ready, my wonderful leeches, those of low intelligence. They will never have the privilege of tasting this sense of joy and satisfaction. Now, finally, I can move against Spencer. Soon, I will control everything. January 31st. The devices I set to protect my work have been disturbed. It appears someone came looking for tea, and the leeches, fool. No doubt the work of Spencer's group. February 11th. Today, I again found evidence of tampering around the entrance to the lab. If that is what they're after, I must find a suitable way to deal with them. Perhaps I should have William and Albert smoke out the pests. Those two are the only ones I trust, apart from my beloved leeches, of course. But Spencer, it wouldn't end there, would it? I will announce tea at the next director's meeting and collect my just rewards. So we actually have good clairvoyance on the backstory of the Tyrant virus. That was reputable for Resident Evil 1. And I just love that about the series. I think it's the way they interweave the story very well. It resonates so well. And I still love it to this day. I mean, maybe 20 years old, but you know what? It hasn't lost a step for being a very fun game. Especially when it comes to storytelling. Oh, Billy finally is hurt. You got any healing items? Nope. It's okay, Billy. I'll help you out. First, I'm going to get my blue herbs over here because these are going to be relevant for the next area we're going to because there's going to be poison enemies. And if anybody's ever played a Resident Evil game, you know poison, blue herbs are what you want. So we're going to go ahead and grab these blue herbs and make the most of that. So also, we have a green canister here. This is a good instance where you can actually use the mixing set for her. And you go ahead and take an examination of it. So we have a poison neutralizing effect with that. So hence why I really wanted to grab that. But over here we have a first aid item, which we're going to use to heal Billy. So he's back to full strength. And then over here on the bed we have a file. First investigation unit notes. First investigation unit notes. We are searching the facilities and it looks like a lot of the chemicals survived. Fortunately, the storage tanks are still all full. We have just started and there is still a lot we don't know, but it appears that the chemicals can be mixed to produce new substances. The chemicals are scattered all about, not because of the accident, but more a result of plain mismanagement. When we reopen the facility, we will have to develop a system for dealing with these chemicals. Something is scrawled on the back. Red and blue equals sulfuric acid. Green and red equals stripping agent. So we have chemical compositions to use for future puzzles that we need to account for. So, which is good. I can mess with that. So I'm just taking a quick look around. There's no other things here, so we can head out this way. So once we pretty much have navigated through that particular area, we're going to head back to the main training hall. Training facilities main hall. We are obviously going to have to drop some stuff off because we don't have the resources for picking up that statue yet, so we're going to have to do some item management right now. So we're going to go ahead and leave the flame grenades here. We're going to exchange the book with Rebecca, and she's going to pick up the ink ribbons on the floor, so we have a complete set of ink ribbons available at present. And then she's going to pick up the red and green herb, which we have acquired, that we have not mixed yet. And we're going to mix that. Now, pretty much, that is going to be what we will do in scale there. And I think that is all we're going to do. Now we're going to head outside to the main gateway. Now, it's a funny story, because when we were kids, me and my friends, we were pretty avid Resident Evil fans. We would play the game pretty regularly. So, of course, one of my friends said, I don't know why they hang around the facility. I don't know why they just don't run away. Well, the reason why they couldn't run away is because the bridge was out. So, it was kind of funny because he literally was like, oh, we can get out of here. And he's like, oh, man, what the fuck, bro? And of course, he just made it more comical because he was just that kind of guy. He was like one of those comedy characters from a comedy club. And he just made it more hilarious with his reaction. So, I mean, it was just awesome. Now, once we go out here, as we can see, we got an elevator, but we can't use it because we don't have a battery. When we need the battery to lower that crate from the upper level, because out here, on top of this column, we see there's something up top that we can't get to. So we're going to need to come back for that later. Because we can't get it right now, obviously, so... But the more important thing is now that we have the means of going down to the basement, we're going to go ahead and do that. Before we do that, though, we're going to split up.
I'll check it out.
Okay.
I'm going to get the statue operating, and I'm going to go about doing that process there. And then I think I'm going to end the stream for just a brief bit to sort of just stretch my legs and get a proper sequencing of time frame to sort of just connect streams, even keel on that rate. So. So once you have that pretty much combined, go ahead and put the statue back on the pedestal. And the statue of good Mr. Marcus will be dropped. And we will have a new path into a underground level below us. So, with that being said, we're going to have a few things here we're going to need to contend with. So, first and foremost, for obvious reasons, we're going to take a healing item with us, but we're not going to do it for us particularly. We're going to do it for Billy, because he's going to need to face some nasty, nasty enemies coming up here momentarily. And then we are going to take a look and see what she has. I don't think she... Okay, yeah, she does have some stuff, but nothing in expansion that's going to be anything significant. So we're going to go ahead and save the game there. And I think we've made pretty good time actually navigating everything we have up to this point going forward, because considering the circumstances, it's actually pretty decent in its own right. So... And I think we're going to stop there for right now and take a brief break. I definitely want a cold drink, and I want to stretch my legs a bit and get into the fulcrum of whatever I'm working with elsewhere. So, but that is pretty much the beginning, early infancy of this 2-hour, 2.5-hour playthrough of Resident Evil 0. So far, it's bringing back a lot of memories, a lot of nostalgia, and I'm loving it. I think it's exciting, particularly because I'm very old school. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the remakes of 4 and 3, and especially 2. Jesus, just beautiful. But the classics will never go out of style. Never. I don't give a fuck how many games they remake. I don't give a fuck how many things they remake. I will admit, though, I was kind of, like I was saying early in the stream, I was really kind of pulled between playing Resident Evil 4 Remake and Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil Code Veronica. Now, after I played this particular game, I might consider doing Resident Evil 4 Remake, or I may do Code Veronica. I haven't played it. I've got it available. I've also got some of the older, like, Stone Age classics of, like, Resident Evil Director's Cut. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you want to see me play one of them? Do you want to see one more than the other? Give me your thoughts in below, because I know some of you fans out there are definitely Resident Evil enthusiasts. You love it. A lot of people are calling for a Code Veronica remake. It's been fucking the talk of the times, especially with Resident Evil games being made. I know there's a lot of talk about Resident Evil 9 being made, but at present right now, I'm just really curious. What would you like to see in the next stream after I finish Resident Evil 0? Code Veronica? Resident Evil 4 remake? Oh, okay. Melissa's definitely wanted to see Code Veronica. Okay, because, I'm actually excited to have a Code Veronica remake. My buddy Cliff, he's not too fond of it. He's never liked Code Veronica. But I definitely would do it. I haven't even played it. I jumped into it for maybe 20 minutes. But then I thought, no, I don't want to ruin it. I want to do it live on stream, because I got trophies and shit that I'm going to do. But at the same time, I thought to myself, I got to play it. So I'll definitely take that into account. Resident Evil 4 Remake or Code Veronica. So far, Code Veronica's taken the steal. So it's going to be fun. And if I can remember everything in that capacity in Fulcrum, I will absolutely make it my measure to enjoy it to the capacity of its measure. So I'm actually enjoying this. It's definitely taken me back. I mean, 2002 this game came out, and 2025 it's still... Oh, it's awesome. Awesome. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone else except for those who are really dedicated players of Resident Evil. So Anyway, I'm going to get off here for about 10 minutes, maybe, give or take. And I'll kick out another stream. And we'll get to the dicey fun stuff. So I'll be right back. Thank you for tuning in. If you love this video, comment, like, and subscribe. If you have any questions, I'll answer them as best I can. I hope my strategies and methods and tactics have been somewhat inducive, especially if you're new to this kind of game. It's not Resident Evil 4, it's not Remake 2 or Remake 3, but old school is the best school, and experience is a better teacher. You can't appreciate the new shit if you haven't really enjoyed the old shit. So, thank you very much. I am Savage Squishy 86, and I will return to you momentarily with more Resident Evil 0. Fantastic. Wonderful. Thank you. And I will see you momentarily.